Ira. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for being with us. I'm here with Olu Asikhia. Hi, Olu.
Good evening, Paola. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you for being with us. I apologize for my terrible voice, but you know, I have the flu. The weather is changing over here, and as it happens sometimes, your immune system goes down, and here I am. So I apologize for this terrible voice.
No,
Olu and I met almost a year ago, more or less. And she's a fantastic woman. We immediately clicked. We share so many things. And before I start with my questions, I think that the best thing to do is to ask you to say a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Olu Asikhia. Paola, I'd like to thank you for that lovely introduction. And just to give you an indication, this is truly a woman who's taken leadership. Even while she's poorly, she still continues to deliver a great service. So thank you so much for that. Just a bit about me. Well, I'm a mother. I'm a mother to two beautiful girls. I also have my own business within the area of consultancy, specializing in customer service and also call centers, and have worked with companies all over the world. I ran that business, set up that business in 2005 by myself. But that's one area of my life. I also, one of my other areas which I'm very passionate about is a program which I started this year called Women Taking Leadership Through Christ, which is a women's-based event, and I'm sure that we're going to have the opportunity to speak about that a lot more during the course of this interview. So, yeah, so mother to two children, which keeps me very busy, in addition to being a businesswoman, and also this social enterprise which I'm setting up, which I've set up right now, where my aim is to make a difference to the lives of women, but utilizing Bible-based principles.
Olu, you are a woman, are a mother, and you are running your own business. And first of all, what are the main reasons why you decided to set up your own business rather than continuing with it or having a job?
I think that's a really good question, Paola, and I've thought about that. And why did I set up my own business? I think for me, it's about being in control of my destiny. It was about knowing that I put the effort into my work and I get the benefit. Nobody else but me. So for me, control and being rewarded based on my own effort was really important to me. In addition, it's also very important to me to have a balance, being a mother of two young children. Well, they're not young anymore, they're teenagers now, but being a mother of children, I wanted to be able to have the ability to balance my work with my family. And when I worked with an organization, and I had been doing so for many years, I found that I was spending less and less time with my young children at the time, and going out to work and traveling all over, all over the world. At the time, I remember I went back to work with my oldest child when she was 3 months old, and my youngest child when she was 2 months old. So as a mother, that was very, very difficult, but you still had to deliver a business. So for me, it was control. It was about being in charge of my own destiny, and it was also about having that work-life balance to a certain degree.
And what have been the main challenges that you had to face at the beginning?
The main challenges for me was self-doubt, because you always have, or certainly I had at the time, this underlying fear: would I be able to do it? Would I be successful? What would happen if I took that leap from being, working in the safety of an organization through to suddenly working by myself with a young family to look after? And that was a real worry for me at the time. But I remember after having that, should I or shouldn't I, for many, many years, one day I read a book by Susan L. Jeffers called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I remember when I read that book, I sat down, I literally got the book and I read it from cover to cover, I think within a day or so. And at the end of reading that book, I thought, you know what? Fear shouldn't actually stop you from achieving anything. Fear is just your unconscious mind saying, don't do this. What if this could happen? What if that could happen? But the reality is, it's not the truth. It's not the real reality. It's not the reality. So based on that, I took that fear and knew it was time for me to make that transition, and took the leap into setting up on my own. And that was, what, over 9 years ago. And you know what? It was one of the best decisions I ever made. So it made me learn pretty quickly that, you know, and I overcame that challenge. It made me realize that fear holds you back. You should never allow fear to hold you back. You should keep moving forward, because sometimes it's very easy to stay within your comfort level and not move forward.
Oh yeah, fear stops us from doing so many things. And how many women I know that, you know, are stuck, trapped in unhappy situations, both in their personal life and in their professional life, and they don't do anything because of fear, and they remain trapped in their unhappiness, which is sad. Yes, it takes courage, but you know, it can be done.
Absolutely right, Paula. And for me, it's about knowing your value. And sometimes as women, you know, we don't know our value. We underplay our value. And because of that, we tend to settle for second best in our relationships, second best in our jobs, second best in our homes. But it's about knowing your value, respecting yourself, and setting clear boundaries. So you don't have to, you know, if the relationship is not right, you know, you don't have to accept that. You make changes and have clear boundaries. And I know very many women, and I've sat down with quite a few women who complained about their partners and talked about how awful they were. And we have a discussion and say, well, if you're not happy, you have two choices. You either stay with your situation, or you make a decision and step out of the situation. And if you decide to stay, then you need to draw some really clear boundaries so that, you know, that person, your partner, is not overstepping those boundaries and you feel as if you're being undermined and you're giving too much of yourself away so that you feel exploited. So I think it's really important to understand that.
Yeah, you're definitely right. And especially, you know, that many of my clients are women in their late 40s and 50s, and there's another fear that comes into play, which is the fear of not being young enough anymore to be able to make changes in your life. And what you said is true at any age. You can change, you can start a business, you can move to another country, you can follow what you really want to do at any age. Is this correct, Olu?
I completely agree. For me, life begins at 50. But if you were to speak to my mother at 70 years of age decided that she wanted to start to drive. So at 70 years of age, not being able to use a computer, didn't even know how to hold a mouse. My mother taught herself to use a computer so she could learn the theory test. And then she passed her driving test, she passed the theory, and she was in her 70s. So if you're talking to women in their 40s and 50s, my goodness, life begins at 50 and 60 and 70. You're never too young or too old to make changes. Just know what you want and go for it, and don't let anything stop you.
That's right. That's right. I totally agree. Olu, can you tell us a little bit about women taking leadership through Christ?
Absolutely.
What is it?
Yeah. Women taking leadership through Christ. Now, this was something that I felt very strongly within myself and need to do. Because I went through a number of challenges, you know, over the last few years. Things have been, you know, were very tough. You know, I was suffering with my health, problems in my health. I was suffering, you know, taking place in my business and in my family. And then I discovered that by following Bible-based principles, I was able to transform my life. And Bible-based principles in terms of what to eat, Bible-based principles in terms of being the best and understanding what gifts you had internally within yourself. And I have to say, every single woman has their own gift. So there is no one shoe fits every single person. No, everyone has a gift. So I noted that, and I started to realize this is what I wanted. And then based on that, from that learning, based on the Bible-based principles around my health, around my finances, around my life, I started to see massive transformations. I started to see doors open, opportunities that I would never have believed possible, ever, started to appear this year. The types of people that I've met in the last year or so have been incredible, people that I wouldn't have thought possible. And this was all because I started to apply those Bible-based principles. And because I discovered that, I realized that actually, if this works for me, surely it can work for other women too. And I felt the need to be able to share that with other women who were experiencing difficulty, with self-esteem, with confidence, whose lives were not in the way that they wanted it to be, and who felt helpless. And it made me realize that actually all I needed to do was go out there and start to share what I have learned and what I've experienced in my own life with women, so that they too can make that change within their life, and it is within their remit. And that is why I set up Women Taking Leadership Through Christ. The first part of this whole program of the Women Taking Leadership Through Christ is we're going to be running a boot camp in the UK on the 17th through to the 18th of October. And this is an opportunity for women to really start to focus on what is it that they want to do in their lives, what are the gifts that they have. And then by doing that, based on the Bible-based principles, and there are many examples of great people in the Bible, we help them to achieve that. And that is the purpose of Women Taking Leadership Through Christ. So I've learned many things, and I would like to give the opportunity to other women, to also learn those same things and change the narrative. What is the narrative for their lives at this moment in time? You don't have to accept that narrative. Now's the time to change that, and that is the purpose of Women Taking Leadership Through Christ.
And is it just suitable for Christian women?
No. If you're a woman, doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or not Christian. If you're a woman, this Women Taking Leadership Through Christ is suitable for you. Okay? It's about being the best that you can possibly be. It's about looking at what you're good at, what you're passionate about. Maybe some women don't even know what they're good at, but there's something inside them, something in their heart, something in their belly that says, you know what, I really enjoy this. There is a passion, a light that's igniting in them. And what we're doing is we're helping those women, we're nurturing them, we're giving them the opportunity to birth those ideas so they become a reality. So back to your question, is it just for Christian women? No, it's for every woman, because every woman has the right to be the best and live the life that they should be living.
And what kind of organization is it? Is it a charity?
No, Women Taking Leadership, at this moment in time, we set it up with a group of volunteer women who gave their time to set up this organization, who have the same passion as I have for helping, developing, empowering women. Now, we're creating it as a social enterprise, which basically means that any money, any profits that we make from the event, then we will be utilizing that to support women's causes. So some of the causes that we have at this moment in time are female genital mutilation, which is affecting millions of women around the world. And also Care International, so women who have been ravaged by war and also gone through sexual violence as a result of the environment in which they've been in. So they're the two areas that we're supporting at the moment. But having said that, there'll be numerous female initiatives that we will also support. So we've developed it not just for us, but also the profits will be utilised for other worthy women-based causes.
And what do you hope to achieve with this organization?
Change, transformation. Now, when I talk about change and transformation, if we can, and the analogy that comes into my head is, if one woman throws a pebble into the water, it creates a little splash. But if lots of women throws lots of pebbles into the water at the same time, it creates a wave. So by transforming each woman so they understand what their gifts are and what their potential is, and getting rid of all those things, all of those limiting beliefs that are placing ceilings around their dreams, their desires, their destinies, and by opening those doors, and they can start to achieve what they should be achieving, and through that help other women and more women. So help themselves, help the people in their street, help their communities, and before you know it, we're helping nations. And that is the goal. So it's about not just helping yourself, but it's also helping other people so that they can also learn along the way as well from your experiences. We also want to start to help young girls as well to build up their self-esteem, again using Bible-based principles. I need to go back to I was at an event quite recently, and I remember the speaker at the time was talking about Moses, and he had to present himself to the Pharaoh, and Moses had a stutter, and he said, God, why me? Why do I need to go to my brother? He can speak much better than me. He's more eloquent than me. But God didn't want his brother. He wanted Moses because he saw something inside of Moses. So by hearing that, it makes me realize that every single woman, you know, sometimes we doubt ourselves. Sometimes we feel that we're not able to achieve it. That there is something inside which is unique to you as a woman that needs to be gifted to the world. And it is a gift that you have within yourself.
That's right. This is also what I say to many other women who, you know, are maybe starting their business, and they say, oh, why should clients come to me when there are so many people who are younger, you know, more skilled, more experienced out there? So why should they come to me? And I always say, because there is something unique about you. So you can say exactly the same things, but nobody will say the same things as you say them, and they can have the same products and services, but you will present them in a way that it's unique to you.
Absolutely. There is only one of each of us. You know, we are all unique, and we all have something which is special about us. And you're right. You know, in business, you know, there are, you know, women who say, well, why buy from me? You know, there are hundreds of different coaches. There are hundreds of different consultants. There are hundreds of other people doing the same product, delivering the same products as I do. My question is, why not? You know, there is something about you which is special. So why not get your voice heard, build up your brand, build up your personality, build up your self-esteem, build up your confidence, and go gift yourself to the world, because that's exactly what it is. Each one of us is uniquely and remarkably made. Okay, we are unique. There is only one Paula. There is only one Olu. Yeah, and even in terms of stature, I'm 6'2". Okay, there are not that many women who are 6'2", but I'm unique. You know, so it's nothing to be shy of. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Go out there and give that gift of what you have to the world. And you owe it to the world. You owe it not to shy away. You owe it to the world not to hide your light, because it's wasteful. It's wasted. So do not ever hide your light under the bushel.
Before we continue, I forgot to say to our audience, if you have questions for Olu, please send your questions to info@projectprosperity.com, and in the subject simply say question for Olu, so that I will be able to ask these questions at the end of this short interview. And can you tell us a little bit more about the boot camp in the UK, Olu?
Absolutely. So with the boot camp, we actually have, and I'm going to take out some leaflets. We actually have a number of women, both from the Christian world and also the secular world. I don't know if you can see this here. Oh, it's probably quite
higher.
Yeah, so higher. So it's called the Women Taking Leadership Through Christ Boot Camp. It's taking place on the 17th to the 18th of October. And we actually have a number of great speakers. So we have some ministers from the church. So we've got a wonderful lady called Pastor Maria Yangu, who is, I mean, when you meet her, she's an incredible woman. She is a wife. She's a mother of 2 very, very active toddlers. She owns a number of different businesses, and she's also working in a very, very busy ministry, and she's doing great things. She's changing and transforming the lives of women. She's doing a lot of things around sort of spiritual, on a spiritual level, and creating breakthrough so that these women are not being held back by anything. We also have a wonderful lady called CC Harding, another minister, who is going to be, one of the things we found is that, you know, a lot of women, they tend to leave themselves last. They put themselves, not even second, third. They put their families before themselves. They put everything before themselves. If they're working, they work before themselves, and they're always last. And that's last not in terms of what they want and how they feel, but also in terms of their health. So how can you be the best and deliver the best and give yourself to the world if your health is not great? So we have somebody called Minister CC Harding, who's going to be talking about health matters and the sort of things that you can do in order to enhance your health and make sure that you have that longevity, even down to what you eat. And I've also tried some of the things that we talked about, so things like, you know, the raw food diet and all of that sort of thing. So I'm not suggesting that you all go out and do that, but what we're saying is there are certain things that you can do in order to improve your health. In addition, I shall also be speaking at the event, and I'll be talking about finance and financial breakthrough. So coming up with some strategies that you can actually apply in order to improve your finances. I don't know, who would like to earn more money? Yeah?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I don't know, exactly. I do not know a single person who wouldn't like to earn more, okay? So again, using Bible-based principles, there are some key doctrines and principles that we can apply in our lives that will create phenomenal results. So I'll be looking at that. We've got a lovely lady called Christine Korjak, who's a coach, and she's going to be talking about your goals. So all the things that we've talked about in terms of being the best in your life, in your finances, in your health, but you need to, how can you apply those in a practical way without clear goals? How do you know whether you've achieved something when you don't know how to get there? So again, we're going to start to look at some very practical things that you can do in order to put into practice the things that we talk about. So in essence, the event will focus on, you know, looking at you on a spiritual level in terms of your breakthroughs, giving you some practical tools so that you can actually apply it once you leave, and you can start to make changes and transform and improve and enhance your life and have a better quality based on what you think is important to you and not anybody.
Wow.
And make a difference.
I'll be there, you know, I will be there. I don't miss this event. Can you tell people who are watching us where they can find all the information, and if they want to register, and if they want to know more about this wonderful initiative?
Absolutely. So we have a number of different options for you. So you can go online onto our website, which is www.womentakingleadership.co.uk, or send me an email at womentakingleadership@gmail.com. So if you send me an email, I will come back to you and we can book the program for you, book you onto the boot camp, which is a fantastic opportunity. Or if you prefer to go onto the web, don't forget www.womentakingleadership.co.uk. You'll be able to book through there and by email as well.
Yeah, after this interview, I will set up a page on my website, a thank you page, where I will specify all contact details. Or if you want to get in touch with her, I will also include the Women Leadership.co.uk website, Olu's email address, and so you will be able to get in touch with her. Olu, you said, and I said, that you're a multi-passionate businesswoman, so you have this Women Taking Leadership Through Christ organization, and then you have your business. Is it difficult to manage different businesses? Is there a secret to be able to get more organized so that you don't get burned out?
Yeah, I think time management is really important. because both the business and the women taking leadership through Christ they're equally important. So managing your time, not trying to recognize what is important and what's not important. The things that aren't important, let it go. If you've got someone to delegate to, delegate wherever possible. If you don't, if it's not a priority, put it aside. As a woman, you don't have to be able to do everything there and then. There are some things that are important, so what I classify as priority ones, and there are some things that are not quite so important that we can leave aside. And that's what I've done. So I just focus on the things that are going to make a difference, and the other things I can pick up a little bit later. And that's how I've managed to juggle both my business and also the women taking leadership through Christ.
And you have a family. What do you do to find balance between your business and your family life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so blessed because my girls now are grown. So I have my oldest daughter just turned 17 on Monday. My youngest is going to be 16 soon. So they actually help. They get involved in my business. So I've given them little tasks to do. So that means that we're all working on this together. We do spend time together. So when I get back from work, we spend time, we sit and we talk, we pray, we meditate together as well. And we have quite, very, very strong relationships. So they feel very much part of everything that I'm doing, and they have the same level of passion and also come up with ideas. In fact, my youngest daughter, 15, she said, "Mum, for this Women Taking Leadership Through Christ event, I'd like to say a few words." Now, isn't that incredible for a 15-year-old to be happy enough to stand in front of a lot of people to be able to speak, which I think is absolutely amazing. So, yes, my children get involved in what I'm doing in both my business and also the social enterprise which I've set up. And that's how we work well together. But there are also, we also have some downtime, so it's not all work and no play for me. We do play, we do spend some time together. I do wind my children up, and they do say, "Mum, stop it." And sometimes my oldest child did say to me, "Mother, sometimes I wonder who's the child and who's the adult." So we have our moments.
Yeah, like it always happens with teenagers. I mean, I go through the same. We have our moments too. You are empowering women to take leadership. So what are 3 qualities of a female leader?
Okay, the 3 qualities of female leader. I would say self-belief, believe in yourself, have a vision of where you want to get to, and have the courage to go there. So for me, belief, self-belief. If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect anybody else to believe in you? If you don't believe in yourself, how will you have the conviction to communicate in a way that people feel comfortable and confident and trust you? If you have no vision, where are you going to get to? But I'm not saying that you need to have the vision straight away. Sometimes you need some guidance, but guidance to make that vision clear and compelling, because that vision drives you and it motivates you. And if you have the boldness and the courage with faith, for me, God is really important. With faith, everything is possible. There is nothing that's impossible. The only thing that's impossible are the limits that you place on yourself. Everything is possible. And I would suggest that life is not easy. There are times when you're hit with curveballs, when things don't go right the first time or the second or the third. But I heard a lady today, and she said to me, if one door closes, keep banging until another one opens. So what I'm saying is, be bold, have that vision, keep going. And sometimes doors will shut, but just keep going and keep banging, and then eventually one door that's right for you, that's even better for you, will open, and you will achieve your dream.
Yeah, thank you, Olu. Thank you. There is a question. There is Catherine who's asking if you can give, just a little bit of advice about earning more money.
Absolutely. So in terms of earning more money, well, I would suggest that, earning more money, don't just stick with your job. Job, job means just above the line. So I would suggest, if you're working, start looking at alternative ways of generating income. Create a little business, whether it be online, think about some of the expertise that you have and try and convert those expertise, sell your expertise in exchange for money. Some people limit themselves to their job and their job becomes their be-all, end-all. But it shouldn't be like that. Think about your goal. What is it you want to achieve? Where is it that you want to go? Are you earning the amounts of money that you want to? If you're not, then you supplement your job with other activities. If you're in a business, don't just stick to one product. Look at other products, look at joint ventures, look at extending your product portfolio so you can offer more. If you're at home and you have children, again, there are little things that you can do in order to generate additional income, So again, going back to your gifts, what are you good at? What are you good at? Think about that and think about how you can give that to the world, because the reality is that gift that you have, somebody will be willing to buy it from you. Somebody will be willing to pay for that gift from you. You just need to isolate what that is and then go and gift it.
All right. There is another question that by chance relates with what you have just said. And the question is, how can you find out about what you're good at if you don't know?
Yeah. I would go back to, what are you passionate about? What wakes you up in the morning? What excites you? What do you enjoy doing? Because when you start to go back to your passion and really think about it, you will know things that bore you to death, but you will also know things that excite you, make you happy. Because the things that you're passionate about, they're a seed inside of you, which are a little indicator, a cinder, an ember, which is showing you this is what you need to nurture a bit more. And once you start to understand that passion, then start to, I would say, birth it, gather more information, speak to more people, test it out, look at what's on the market, research it, and then before you know it, that passion becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and then before you know it, you have something. So always start from your passion, and then back that up. Passion with analysis to understand what's out there in the market and how you can develop it and who you can develop it with. That's how you start to know what you're good at and know what to do.
Yeah, and I would add something, Olu. When you're confused about your passions, also think about what you were passionate about, even as a child. The things that, really energized you, the things that made you happy. And you can see a pattern in your life, and this will help you discover what you are unique about and what are your passions today. Yeah. There is another question about time management. What are your secrets about managing your time successfully?
Okay, what I tend to do is on a daily basis. I don't always do it on a daily basis, but just in its purest sense, list all the things you need to do, because sometimes when you have everything in your head, it becomes jumbled and it becomes painful. Your mind becomes heavy, and you can start to feel the pressure on your body. So get it all out on paper, and then in a very simplistic way, look at, so is that important? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And then go in a really sort of mechanical way of evaluating what's important. And then once you have all the importance, so all the no's put to one side, okay, because you've just had a quick look and they're not quite so important. All the yeses, now go give them a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All the ones, that's where you focus your effort, okay, in terms of your time, because you only have, I know we're women, but we don't work 24 hours a day, and if you are, we need to have a conversation, okay? So basically, we have a restricted amount of time, so all the ones, we focus on that, and once we've got that out, and we can see that's moved out of the way, then we can start to focus on the next lot. And once you do that, you look back at that list, and you start to feel a sense of achievement, and you can start to see things moving forward, and you can start to things closing down, and that you're completing activities, and that in itself is motivational. But do not just have lots of things and thoughts in your head, because that stops you. It steals your time away. It confuses you, it stresses you, and it burns you out. None of those things are good for you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. So once again, for our audience, I will post a link to a web or to a page on my website where you will find all contact details if you want to get in touch with Olu, know more about women taking the leadership for Christ, and well, to get in touch with her and know more about her. I thank you so much, you Olu, for having accepted to be with me here tonight. And I would like to thank the people who have been watching us for having taken the time to learn some very empowering insights about the importance of taking your life in your hands. And take responsibility for your life, as you said, Olu.
Thank you. So I would say, Paola, thank you so much for inviting me onto this interview. Ladies, thank you so much for spending the evening and to give me the opportunity to reach out to you. It's been an absolute blessing. And the only thing I will say is, ladies, it's time to take control and smash through your limits. Now's the time. Let's go out there and get them. Thank you so much, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Olu. Bye. Good night.
Good night. Good night,
everybody.